know that between the scout room and my own cell, I probably have $300 worth of scrap iron right there.
We plan on getting some flyers made and then have a good month's notice for the flyers. Yes, Tom?
Is there a way to secure the hat? There's a lot
Well,
of people
there's a way, it can be shut in locks. They suggest that for the valuable metal, we might want to keep it separate until we actually shut it up for them to come.
The non
Or maybe we will park his motorhome beside it and sleep there overnight. Maybe I'll just sleep in my, that's something we gotta think about, yes.
Right. That's the first thing came to my mind too, the idea.
It's not, when we do it, the dumpster will be out in front of Tractor Supply in that big parking lot.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
And I've already talked to them, and the public safety department will know about it. Another fundraiser that's been very good for us is that Jim Cascarelli partners with us on a spaghetti dinner. We usually do that in the spring or early summer. We will serve as many as 200 meals. We ask the boys to sell tickets. A portion of the ticket sale where they sell a ticket, a portion of that goes in their scout account. We've done that. I think we've been charging $7 or $8 a ticket. 2 years ago we did $5. This last year I was going to do it $5 again. Jim said that's not enough. And the first 2 years he did it absolutely no charge to us. Everything gratis by him. The third year he said, I'm going to have to charge you $1.50 per person served. Last year I asked him how much. He said same thing. Jim, I know your cost went up. We paid him $2 for each of the 200, and we ended up netting about $1,200 from that.
We gave the boys the opportunity to sell tickets before the night. Any tickets that they sold before the night of the spaghetti dinner, they were able to earn
$6 out of the ticket sale.
They were able to earn a portion of their the ticket price.
And the real beauty of it is we get the kids to come in early. Jim has them set up the table, show them how a table should be set, teaches them how you wait on someone, teaches them little special things like put a lot of ice in the glass so it doesn't take as much time as they need to save on his expense, but how to smile and treat the people. And we always get good comments from the people in the community about how nice the scouts are to see the scouts out serving. So that's a great thing. Another thing I want to cover with you is a new policy the boys came up with regard to attendance. We consider that scouting should not be competing with other things. We know that sports and athletics are important. We know that schoolwork and academics are important. We know that planned family activities are important. Scouting is, I was going to say secondary, what would be the word for fourth, in line to those other three things. But we want the kid to be focused enough that on the weekend he gets his homework done, so he can come to Scouts on Monday night. We want him, if he's got basketball practice that gets over at 7 o'clock or 7:30, he'll still come to a Scout meeting. If he does miss a meeting, we want him to contact one of the two of us to let us know why he missed the meeting, and we want the boy to do that. We want the boys to learn to be responsible on this. And the policy that the Scouts came up with is you don't participate in our fun activities like camping and that stuff if you're not maintaining attendance or talking to one of the two of us to get an excuse for that absence. We also want them to talk to other Scouts to find out what they do Monday night so that he can keep up the training. When we go camping, we have a flyer like this. It gives all the details, and the bottom is a permission slip. That's intended to be torn off, sent back with your signature, but keep the top so you have the details on where we are and what we're doing.
We really want to emphasize that you should keep the top part. We get the whole thing back, and if it comes back early, when the kids are dropped off, we get a lot of questions. Well, when are they coming back, or where are you going? Well, they've already sent it. So all we need is the bottom part that's got your signature on it.
When we go camping, back to finance. We have put forth great effort to be able to do our activities without placing special financial burden on families. We don't want you to have to spend a lot of money for Scout equipment. But we do ask that when we go camping, your Scouts have their stuff packed up in something other than a black plastic bag because they get torn. Something durable enough, duffel bag, even if it's a suitcase. And we want the boys to keep their stuff picked up when we get ready to come home, have it all packed and not laying loose in the trailers. It's just common, but we have to say that.
If they have their own sleeping bags, they should have some kind of a cord or something that ties around them instead of just coming all bunched up. Just for packing.
Or their sleeping bag in a bag.
Or in a bag, yeah.
Uniforms. We give everyone an orange shirt. We would like to have them in a Class A uniform shirt, such as what the two of us are wearing. We don't require it. We have, in their scout handbook, it tells how the emblems should be placed. We're handing that out. And if the time comes that you're getting a scout uniform shirt, we have the troop numbers identified as Albion. Normally you'd buy 3 numbers and have to sew all 3 of them on separately. We have these to give to your scout when he's ready with a Class A uniform. So it sews on here, and usually we can also give him the council patch. So the left sleeve is covered, council patch at the shoulder, the troop emblem right below that. We supply those. So
The other thing
if you
is,
do buy a scout shirt, don't feel you gotta buy those.
and the other reason we're bringing this up tonight is we've got a lot of boys, we had a bunch of donated jerseys came in. And they have a lot of outdated patches that just got left on there, and the outdated patches were in the wrong places and stuff. So now we have boys coming in, at the last spring camporee, we had them on, and some people pointed out, we ran into some uniform Gestapos, but we don't have that in our troop. But the other thing is, this information is also in the scout handbooks, in the inside of the front cover and the inside of the back cover. I wouldn't be surprised if you go and ask your sons, where's your scout handbook? You're gonna have time struggling to find it. So that's another thing, that if you could, we'd like to try to, we ask them time and time again to bring their scout handbook with them every meeting. When we do some training and stuff, we refer to the scout handbook, nobody has it with them. So if they bring it with them and take it home.
If any of you want one of these cards, I handed out to the boys, the kids at Hope Pledge, the Scout Law. If you want any of these to have around, I've got a handful of them. Something that, with regard to the Boy Scout Law, it's always been recited, the Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, and so forth. We've changed it to where we say, as a Scout, I am trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, so forth, to make it direct and personal, to also express the fact that there's an expectation for someone when they're a Boy Scout. We've got these cards, if you want extras, you're welcome to them. With regard to being a volunteer in scouting, there's been a lot there's been a couple of issues that have been brought forward publicly regarding Boy Scouts over the last few months. One issue that's been in the forefront for some that have followed it is whether Boy Scouting should change their policy and accept homosexuals into scouting. Another issue that came up even more recently was the Boy Scouts of America have been ordered by a court in Oregon to release all of their records from 1965 to 1985, all of the records that relate to Boy Scout adults or anything with regard to a Boy Scout being subjected to sexual or other abuse in scouting. And those records have had to be released. What I want everyone to know is that from 1965 to 85, that was a particular era that is no longer the way things are operated. A lot has changed in Boy Scouts of America. A number of you have gone through the training. We have to go through, we can do it on the internet, but we have to go through training at least every other year called youth protection training. And there's a lot that we have to understand and keep in practice with regard to that training. Now that leads me into talking with you about what has been the most difficult thing of my life over the last week. We learned that we have had within our troop at least one instance, and possibly more, in which we've had a scout on scout with some sort of activity that is absolutely not permitted in scouting. Our training that we've had through Boy Scouts that I've just described specifies that when something like this comes to our attention, we have to report it to scout officials, which we did. Dave and I did it today. And we also know that we have to report it to others, and that was reinforced by our scout officials. One of the things that our scout officials said we should do is review with the parents, tell the parents, hand me one of those. Tell the parents that they should review with their scout what you